Alright guys, we're back for another video talking about the Dragon Ball Super manga. Now, I've done a few of these, right? I've read the manga for, well, it's been out for years now, right? I've been keeping up with it. I thought it was very good, back during the Future Trunks arc for a while there, especially when we didn't completely know everything that was going on with Zamasu, like who exactly Goku Black was, all of those details. When those were still unclear, the manga was very, very thrilling for the Future Trunks arc. Eventually, I felt like it dragged on a little too long. I kind of didn't really like Vegeta Blue's depiction in the manga quite as much. I felt like him defusing just from charging the final Kamehameha was not as good as what the anime did, although the anime, I felt like Vegeta Blue was on screen for too little an amount of time as well, so it wasn't that much better. But the Tournament of Power, I hated in the manga. Absolutely despised the Tournament of Power. Like, I'm one of the few. I know a lot of people do not like the Tournament of Power in the anime, right? There is a ton of problems. There is no doubt about that. Like, there is a lot of issues that come up, but for me, I do consider, like, the Universal Survival arc / Tournament of Power, it's one of my favorite arcs in all of Dragon Ball. Like, it just is. Like, UI Goku to me is, like, the hypest thing, like, ever. Like, I just absolutely love that arc, a lot of how the characters are portrayed. I like a lot of the stuff in there. And I like Jiren as well. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Jiren. They think he's too boring, stuff like that, cookie cutter, whatever. That's all fine. I like Jiren. So I feel like the manga, a lot of the things I particularly liked about the anime, like just off the top of my head, the big one was Vegeta's relationship with Kabe. In the anime, like, it was cool. Like, that was kind of like what built up to Vegeta getting Evolution Blue, was like him wanting to save Kabe, basically. In the manga, it's like so, it does not come off like that at all. Like, in the manga, like, Toyotaro, see, alright, hold on. It's just a turn of power, because I was going to say, like, Toyotaro, like, I don't know if Toyotaro, like, idolized, like, Cell Saga Vegeta back in the day, and, like, he wants to always make Vegeta like that, but in the Moro arc, which is really what the main point of this video is, I think Vegeta is handled very, very well. But, like, I thought the dynamic between Kabe and Vegeta was a lot better in the anime. In the manga, you could miss me with it. A lot of the details in the manga, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, Gohan just being base form. Like, he's not in, like, the ultimate Gohan state. Like, it's just base form Gohan. Like, he goes head-to-head with Kefla. I feel like Kefla as a fusion should have been stronger than just against Gohan. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like how powerful Kale and Caulifla were in the Tournament of Power, but the fusion, once fusion gets involved, like, I deem those characters, like, on a pedestal with how powerful they can be. So I didn't really have so much of an issue with Kefla's strength in the anime, but in the manga, like, it seemed like she was seriously downplayed. Just a lot of issues, right? I mean, I've talked about, the Kefla chapter and stuff on the channel sort of recently. I mean, I guess I'll pick up from, like, where the last chapter that I did, like, a review or talked about on the channel. We'll kind of talk there and then sort of move forward. So, I mean, the UI Goku fight versus Jiren, I thought was just a lot better done in the anime. It's just more dramatic, more over the top. I mean, I'm a sucker. I love that stuff. There's just the ridiculous over the top nature of UI in general. And, like, the fight versus Jiren, how it progressed, just way better in the anime, in my opinion. I think the effects, like, for UI Goku are so overdone. It's so over the top. I just love it. The manga brings UI Goku way down in terms of, like, just the bombastic sort of, like, think of the scene where Goku is standing there looking down on Jiren. Beerus is freaking out, like, oh, like, this is Ultra Instinct. He's there now. Like, how, like, insane that scene is. And then, like, the Ultra Instinct, like, theme is playing, like, those horns are playing. It's crazy. And then, like, in the manga, like, UI Goku doesn't even really have, like, an aura. Like, he's just sort of chilling. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's not all that. I mean, the Jiren fight wraps up, the Frieza, 17, and Goku sort of take down Jiren again. It's kind of a similar thing that we've seen before in the anime. I mean, in the manga, it doesn't, I don't like it quite so much. I did kind of like that dynamic of Goku and Frieza working together. And like in the manga, it doesn't really work out like that. Like Goku just kind of bear hugs Jiren. Like Frieza tosses a death ball at him. You know, Jiren catches it, blocks it, and then Frieza just, boom, rams into him. And then, you know, Goku, Jiren, and Frieza get, like, you know, disqualified, knocked out at that point. But, like, you know, in the anime, I thought it was just a lot more hype. You know, the final episode of Dragon Ball Super, right? So after that, you know, the Universal Survival Arc, it wraps up super quick in the manga, just like it does in the anime, right? They kind of, like, just zoom through it. The Broly movie basically takes up, like, one page, basically saying, like, oh, you know, make sure to check out the movie, basically, if you want to know what happens with this, because I do believe that the manga chapter, which, you know, this one, what is it, chapter 42, I believe that came out before the actual Broly movie was out, so, you know, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, they just skipped over it, you know, kept it as the movie, right? So, then we get into the Moro arc, right? Where, you know, basically chapter 42 has the ending of the Tournament of Power, the one page of the Broly movie, and then the beginning of the Moro arc. Now, so far, I've thought the Moro arc is exceptional. I think Moro is a very interesting villain. He does have different abilities than we've seen before. Like, sure, you could say, like, you know, Cell did, you know, absorb energy and stuff in not really a similar manner to Moro, but he did do that as well. But I feel like a lot of the things Toyotaro has done, or, you know, maybe it's Toriyama for some of these details, I feel like they really work. Like, you know, even going back to the Grand Supreme Kai, right? That is the Supreme Kai that Majin Buu absorbed, you know, like 1 billion years ago or whatever it was. Like, having him actually sort of be relevant to the story is an interesting idea. Another thing I really like that they did is they do sort of explain that, like, the Grand Supreme Kai uses an attack that basically saps Moro of all of his magic, because Moro's like a magician or a warlock, whatever you want to say, right? And, like, there is a line that says, like, that weaken the Grand Supreme Kai. Like, the exact line basically says, like, the Grand Supreme Kai gives up most of his godly power in order to seal away Moro's magic, right? So, like, that kind of, like, keeps things moving. So it's like, okay, so, you know, the Grand Supreme Kai, like, might actually have been a beast. Like, he might have been able to maybe, you know, put up a real good fight against Majin Buu, maybe take down Majin Buu. But by the time that Buu rolled around, the Grand Supreme Kai was already weakened from fighting Moro. So then, you know, Buu was able to absorb Grand Supreme Kai, and obviously that eventually leads to the events of Dragon Ball Z, right? Like, I think kind of like bringing it back like that was very, very nice. Like, it does sort of, I don't know, it keeps, it keeps things from feeling too random, right? Like, the way things are playing out with Moro, where Moro, like, you know, shows back up, like, you know, he doesn't have magic, he's, you know, trying to use magic, he's trying to get the Dragon Balls, like, things kind of, like, work by kind of bringing it back, and, you know, having the Grand Supreme Kai involved in it and stuff. Like, I do like what they've done. I think Goku and Vegeta joining the Galactic Patrol, with Jacko and, what is his name, like, Marius, however you want to say it, you know, the top, basically, like, member of the Galactic Patrol is interesting, because, you know, he shows up on Earth, basically kidnaps Goku, Vegeta, and Buu, and takes them off, because he needs, you know, the Grand Supreme Kai inside of Buu to help take down Moro, because only the Grand Supreme Kai had that ability to sort of lock down Moro's magic, right? Originally, I did not like the fact that Marius is able to get the drop on Goku and Vegeta. I just, like, it's silly to me. But as I've read more of the manga, I actually really like it, because Marius is shown to be very agile, very crafty, right? Like, there's a scene where he is going to stop some robbers, and Vegeta specifically wants to come along because he wants to sort of see Marius in action. And, like, even Vegeta is, like, watching, and, like, Marius does stuff so fast that, like, even Vegeta is not able to completely comprehend. Well, he could tell what Marius did, but he wasn't able to follow as Marius was doing it. I do like that. It's like, you know, if I was doing these reviews sort of, like, weekly, right? Like, if I had talked about that chapter at the time it came out, I really would not have liked the fact that, like, Marius took Goku and Vegeta down, you know, stunned them, and then took them on the ship like that. But as time has gone on, I no longer think that's an issue. Now, Marius recruits, you know, Goku and Vegeta to basically help capture Moro. So kind of the story with Moro, right, is that he's like a magician from like, a billion years ago. It's like 65 million years ago or something like that. He was very powerful. He's been locked up all this time. After the Grand Supreme Kai sort of beat him, he stole all of Moro's magic. Moro was not a threat. Now, for some unknown reason, I'm sure it probably will be explained just based upon how, things have been explained so far with like the Grand Supreme Kai and stuff like that. Moro was able to retain or gain some magic, and then he was able to escape prison. Now, the reason he ended up escaping prison, and he goes off with this other soldier named Cranberry. Now, Cranberry is a defector from the Frieza army, and he's well aware of Frieza's exploits on planet Namek. Searching for the Dragon Balls, he knows all about that. So, he was able to tell people in the Galactic prison about that. Moro heard about it. They ended up teaming off and heading out to planet Namek to then try and get the Dragon Balls that Moro could wish to be brought to his full power. So, a very similar wish to what Demon King Piccolo was after, where he wanted to be restored, to the prime of his youth and, get his full power back. Moro has a similar thing going on, where he wants to have, his full magic back after it was stolen by the Grand Supreme Kai, right? So he heads to Namek. Goku and Vegeta basically head him off there. Vegeta has really, really good scenes with some of the Namekians, wanting to repent for killing an entire village of Namekians back during the Planet Namek arc and the Frieza saga. All of the Namekians that were killed on Planet Namek were revived, except for the village that Vegeta slaughtered. They never returned. They were not wished back, with the wish to revive all those killed by Frieza and his men, because Vegeta was not part of the Frieza Force at the time. So, Vegeta, throughout this arc, he's seeking redemption, it seems, but in a good sort of way. Like, I've been impressed. There's a really good scene in the latest chapter where Vegeta is, asking the Nameks how they feel about him, and I feel like it's done incredibly well in that Vegeta is clearly remorseful, clearly, seeking redemption, but at the same time, he's not the over dickhead that a lot of times Dragon Ball Super is portraying him as, which, like, I felt like he was progressing out of by the end of Dragon Ball Z, right? But then, like, it seems like, some of the people working on Dragon Ball Super were big-time fanboys of, like, angry teenage girl Vegeta from the Cell Saga, and he's kind of acted like that, but, here in the Moro arc, Vegeta is not acting like that, which I really appreciate, right? And then, but at the same time, Vegeta is still holding on to his pride, right? So he's not like, on his knees asking for forgiveness from the Namekians. He's doing it in his own way, but he's not being an overbearing dick, which I think really, really helps this arc out. And, again, there are so many people who are gigantic fans of Vegeta, and this Moro arc, it really, I think, is giving people a lot more reason to be fans of Vegeta. Like, Dragon Ball Super at this point is the Goku and Vegeta show, and I could think that the Tournament of Power in the anime, and now the Moro arc is doing an exceptional job of making Vegeta, kind of like a co-main character, quite honestly. Now, Vegeta and Goku, right, they begin to battle with Moro on Namek. I really like the way Moro's abilities are depicted, right, as a magician. A big thing about him is he uses the planet's own energy against his opponents. Like, he's kind of a planet eater, right? Think of kind of like Galactus from Marvel. I mean, he's obviously a way different character, but he has a similar ability where he's basically eating the essence, the energy. Like, it seems like it's probably the same thing Goku uses to create the Spirit Bomb. So I wonder if that at some point could become involved in this plot. Because, like, Moro, like, you see a scene when he's fighting the Grand Supreme Kai of him, like, absorbing a planet's life energy. And it kind of, to me, it looks similar to what happens when Goku gathers the energy for the Spirit Bomb, right? So, again, we'll see if later on that does sort of become a thing. But Moro is able to take the planet's energy and grow stronger from it, right? So, like, this is a villain that is just going to get progressively stronger and stronger and stronger, which I do think is going to work very well. Now, he fights Vegeta for a while. Really, it does seem as though Vegeta and Goku would win. Specifically, Vegeta, once Vegeta goes Super Saiyan Blue, he does give Moro the business. It's clear that Moro can't handle Super Saiyan Blue. I felt, right? It's very, very brief, but Moro has sort of a passive ability in that he's absorbing all of the energy from around him, like just by being there, like by fight. It's like an ability he can activate, right? And so like Vegeta and Goku, like Vegeta, mainly Vegeta is fighting, and he's having his energy drained the whole time. And Vegeta does not realize it until unfortunately it's too late, and he can't even take or maintain the Super Saiyan transformation at that time. And Goku and Vegeta basically both get wiped out. Moro does use an interesting like looking attack where like it seems like he creates using the planet's energy, he creates like sort of these flames of pillar and like a giant energy ball. Very interesting. I did really like the way the fight was drawn and all that stuff. I cannot wait to see it in the anime. I think especially like if they do the Moro arc in the Shintani like designs, like it's gonna look really good. And especially when like Moro is shooting like waves of the planet's energy at Vegeta, and Vegeta is sort of like flying in between them and stuff, like they can get some really, really nice animation from that, and it probably would look spectacular. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, Moro is like super, super old, right? He's been alive for millions of years. After he sort of beats Goku and Vegeta, he absorbs all of their energy, and it seems to like it restores his body, like it almost like to a younger time, or gives him like like close to sort of full power. So like Moro does appear to be a character that might have like multiple incarnations, multiple transformations, depending on how much power he's absorbing from fighters and the planet and stuff like that, right? So that to me is very interesting. I like that. Moro makes a big, bad guy boo-boo. He absorbs the energy of Goku and Vegeta, and he just leaves him there to die. He's like, yeah, whatever. Peace out. The Namekians that Goku and Vegeta had previously saved are then able to sort of nurse Goku and Vegeta back to health. There is a young Namekian that has a healing ability similar to Dende. Not enough, as he explains, to heal them to full power. So, like, Goku is still not able to use the instant transmission, the instantaneous movement. And they're still not able to transform into Super Saiyan, it seems. But, like, they're able to, survive death. In the meantime, like, there's sort of, like, time passes. Moro is able to collect 6 of the Dragon Balls before eventually Goku and Vegeta meet him at the spot of the final ball. And then sort of at that time, Goku and Vegeta are not going to be able to win. The scene I was referencing earlier where Namekian like was talking to Vegeta. Vegeta was kind of searching out redemption. That happens around the same time with, Vegeta asking how the Namekians feel about him. I think it's very, very well done. The Moro arc in general, everything about it, I've been very, very pleased with. Like Toyotaro is really on a roll right now. I do hope to see it continue. But basically, as Moro shows up to get the last Dragon Ball, Goku and Vegeta are not going to be able to beat Moro. They already have like no power. Moro just gets stronger and stronger and stronger as he absorbs energy from planet Namek, and of course the Namekians themselves. Like at one point, there's even the Nameks utilize the same strategy that the Universe 6 Namekians did, where they all sort of assimilate into one. Like a lot of the warriors of planet Namek assimilate into one Namekian, who's supposed to have great power, and Moro sort of kills him and no-sells him, right? Like, the Namekian is flying in from behind, and Moro just kind of reaches his hand out and just, like, one-shots him. Like, it's a very well-done scene, and Moro's like, oh, my bad, was that your savior? Turns out I killed him without having seen his face. Like, that scene was really, really good. I did like that one a lot. Now, then, of course, Moro basically is stopped from killing Goku and Vegeta because Mirius, like, basically finally arrives on planet Namek, and Fat Buu is with him. Fat Buu and Mirius kind of do, like, battle with Moro. Mirius really handles himself well, and then Fat Buu comes in, and Fat Buu is able to give Moro the business a little bit because Buu is immune to Moro's energy absorption technique, just sort of the passive energy absorption, which, makes sense. It seemed like the Grand Supreme Kai also was immune to that. Buu also is able to access some memories of the Grand Supreme Kai, and he sort of does talk with Moro. He mentions that he remembers Moro. That's not an issue, because that is consistent within Dragon Ball Z. After Buu absorbs Gotenks and Piccolo, he does sort of goad Gohan with the memories of Gotenks and Piccolo. So it does make sense. You know, this is consistent with stuff we saw way back in Dragon Ball Z. Fat Buu even does mention, like, oh, you're the guy who hurt a lot of my friends. So it's going to be very interesting to sort of see how this continues. I wanted to make sure to do a video on the manga because, again, I feel like it's just very, very strong right now. And now would be a perfect time to talk about it. The chapter just came out the other day in which, you know, Buu and Moro begin fighting. So, you know, next month, we'll see where things go. So far, I'm really liking it. I really like Moro as a villain. I do think it's a good follow-up to the Broly movie and to the Turn of Power. When Dragon Ball Super returns to air in July, as is the rumor right now, I really, really hope they begin with the Moro arc. I would love to see Moro in the anime. I think he's a fantastic character so far. I think Goku and Vegeta have been done very well in the arc. I don't really have, like, honestly, I don't really have many complaints. Like, I've seen people, like, kind of, like, complaining about the art, but, like, you know, occasionally in manga, like, you know, things happen, the art is not going to look perfect. I do not care to, like, you know, like, be negative about stuff like that. It happens, right? Like, even during the Tournament of Power, like, you know, when they reuse animation and stuff like that, the whole time, you guys could go back and look at my videos where I said this, I was like, I do not care. They could reuse as much animation as they like. The animation could be sort of bad in these sort of, like, fillery episodes of the Tournament of Power. As long as Goku versus Jiren happens, and that animation is top tier, I'm good. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. So, you know, maybe the animation was a little shoddy at points early in Turn of Power. I don't care. I do not care, because what really mattered, they made look good, which was good enough for me. And it's kind of the same thing with the manga. Toyotaro is ace. The characters, I think the story, all of it is so strong that, like, you know, if the art is iffy in a couple places, I don't really care. Like, I think, to me, I really like Toyotaro's sort of panel placement. I think he has, like, made, like, the fight, like, really easy to follow, despite the fact that Moro is throwing, like, these giant waves of energy at Vegeta and stuff like that. I just am really enjoying the arc right now. Last time I was so, like, I remember the Trunks arc, man. I was loving it so much, and they crashed the ending. So I'm just praying that the Moro arc does not have the same fate as that Goku Black / Future Trunks arc. So let me know what you guys think of the Moro arc and the manga. Let me know if you're reading it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next month for the next chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Very, very good so far, Toyotaro. Very well done.